Welcome to the newest edition of TNInews with your host, JC. Hey everybody, JC here, and welcome to a Monday live stream, the special birthday bash, because yes, it is in fact my birthday today. I turned a whopping 52, so yes, I feel very old. Also, by complete coincidence, it is also Big Bad Toy Store's birthday. They're celebrating their 25th anniversary. So during the course of this video, towards the end, I am going to give away to one of you guys, even though it's my birthday, I'm going to give something away to you guys, a $100 store credit to Big Bad Toy Store. So basically, it will be where I will just do a random pick from the comment section, completely random, and whoever the cursor lands on is who will win the store credit, which we'll announce at the end of the live stream. So my gift to you guys, just as a thank you for supporting the channel, supporting the website, all that good jazz, and just to celebrate, again, a festive day. And I have some stuff for myself as well over here, which I'm going to open. I've got a box from Big Bad Toy Store that we can open. And we're going to go over some news as well. Not a lot of news since Friday, but we'll go over a couple things as well on the news front. So let's just do a quick roll call, see who is in the house here. Looks like we got a pretty full house today. Mr. 777, good afternoon to you. Jeremy is in the house. What is up? Thank you. Thank you for the birthday wishes. Zim is in the house. Happy birthday. Once again, thank you. Happy birthday. Thank you. Thank you. Love all the birthday wishes. I got to tell you, though, when you start to get as old as I am, you really kind of almost want to start forgetting the birthdays. A lot of birthday wishes here, so I'm just going down the wish. So yes, thank you everybody for the birthday wishes here on Facebook, what have you. It is always much appreciated. And I had, it kind of goes without saying, but when your birthday's on a Monday, you get to celebrate, you get to take the whole weekend to celebrate your birthday. So, while today is technically my birthday, me and my wife went to the movies with me to see Transformer 1. And then we went to one of my favorite Chinese restaurants afterwards. And I got to tell you, I was very pleasantly surprised about how much I like Transformer 1. It is probably, in my opinion, the best Transformer movie since the original 80s animated movie. The first Michael Bay Transformer movie I actually like pretty much, but I actually think just as an overall G1 Transformer, I mean, technically this isn't part of the original G1 cartoon. This is its own thing, taking the characters from the original G1 and kind of like rebooting them to a certain extent. But they do, of course, take a lot of pre-established things with this origin story. And it is an origin story 100%. But I thought it was very well done. And it didn't do great in its opening weekend at the box office. It only brought in 25 million. It was originally projected. Salome is here, folks, to help celebrate my birthday. But it only did 25 million. It was originally projected to do 35 million. And in large part, I think that's based on Hasbro and Paramount didn't do a great job in marketing this movie. I mean, the first trailer for this movie made it seem like it was just going to be like a bunch of comedic stuff, and I'm sure they were trying to attract the younger kid demographic, but I just think they did themselves an injustice, because the movie, it certainly has some moments of comedic levity to it, but it is it's not overdone like the trailer seemed like it was going to do, be. And and it was just, I thought it was really good. I don't want to go into spoilers for those who haven't seen it yet, so I'm not going to talk spoilers here. But again, I just, as an origin story for Transformers, I thought this was really good. I thought it was good for those who are new to the franchise, who aren't really familiar with the characters. It's a good introduction point. I thought it had some nice nods to the original G1 stuff. Um, so I felt like there was enough there for everybody. It's not like the most elaborate story. It's fairly predictable. I mean, as you're watching it, I don't think there's like any like great plot twist that you really couldn't see coming. But again, overall, I thought it was just really well done. So basically, where I'm going with this is, if you haven't seen it yet, if you're a Transformer fan, if the original trailer kind of made you lukewarm on it, I do highly recommend that you go see it. And it's not something I often say, but I do feel like this is a movie that is worth seeing in the theater, um, as opposed to waiting for it to come out on home release. The animation is really very good in this movie, surprisingly so. Very crisp colors and animation. The sound in the movie, like, and maybe I went to see it at a Dolby theater, and like, when the robots would like start stomping around and stuff, the vibrations would like almost shake your seat, with the subwoofer and stuff. So it was really, just a cool overall viewing experience. So, and it is definitely, if you want to take the kids to it, there's nothing in it that would make it unkid friendly. But it also, it's one of those movies that I think on the surface is a kid movie, but when you really kind of dig deep into the characters and the story, it has adult themes to it. And Megatron, the D16 character, is probably, to me, the best character in the movie. He's the most interesting character in the movie. And it kind of portrays Megatron in a different light, that he's not just this evil bad guy like he was portrayed in the original series. There's actually more to this character than that, um, which I thought they did a pretty good job with. And one other thing, I guess you might consider this minor spoiler. So first of all, there's two credit scenes. The first one is just kind of jovial, but there is at the very end, at the end of the credits, there is a scene that's worth sticking around for. And well, this might be minor spoiler. I thought it was cool how, generally when you think, why are Autobots called Autobots? Well, because they transform into automobiles. Why are Decepticons called Decepticons? Because, they're evil, deception making, characters. But in this movie, they kind of, they actually added extra dimension. Like, Autobots are really more uh, associated with autonomy, freedom. And the Decepticons basically take on the name Decepticons because they refuse to ever be deceived again. So I thought it was just like a really interesting take on that and everything. So a minor spoiler there, but I just wanted to point that out. But again, if you haven't seen the movie, I do recommend that you do check it out. Again, if you're a Transformer fan and what have you, it is definitely a much better movie than I think the trailers initially portrayed it as. And you've got all your favorites in it as well. It's not just the four main characters. I mean, obviously they do play the biggest role in the movie. The Orion Pax D16, uh, Badassatron, and Alita One. They are the main characters, but there are other familiar faces in the movie. I will say the what we know to become the Decepticons are more heavily portrayed in the movie than other than the three main characters. than the Autobots are. But again, you will see other familiar faces on both sides throughout the movie. So that's my review of Transformer One, and hopefully, I'm hoping, even though like Beetlejuice beat out Transformer One. Beetlejuice was in its third week, but it still beat out Transformer One at the box office barely, but it did beat out Transformer One. But I'm hoping next weekend, as word of mouth spreads, because I haven't seen anyone that has actually seen the movie say anything bad about it. It has gotten very glowing reviews since the movie came out. So I'm hoping that word of mouth helps the movie in its second weekend. It's going up against actually another animated movie focusing on robots, the Wild Robot movie, which I guess is based on a book. I'm not familiar with it, but but I'm hoping that maybe after word of mouth gets around, and people realize that this is a movie worth checking out, that maybe Transformer One will have a surgence at the box office in week two, and actually maybe can take the number one spot. Because I haven't seen Wild Robot, so I can't sit here and say it's a bad movie, but I feel like Transformer One is going to be a better movie than at least from what I've seen from the trailers for Wild Robot. Happy Butterblast says the G1 cameos were fun. John, thank you for the birthday wishes. Joy Toy Collector UK, thank you, my friend, for the birthday wishes. They kind of overplayed the "I'm bad Acetron" joke, but that was my. They didn't do it too bad. I mean, it was kind of funny at first. I mean, like I said, there's definitely some comedic moments thrown in throughout the movie. Like here's one that I forget the exact scene, but in one scene, essentially one of them calls the other one like a GoBot or something, like as in like a derogatory term. So I thought that was kind of funny that they were using GoBots as something bad. 777. Yeah, well, but I mean, again, I think Transformers is good for kids as well. And there were actually, while the theater, when I went to see it on Saturday, I went to see it Saturday evening. The theater by no means was packed in any way. It was actually fairly empty, but there were kids there. There were parents with their kids there, um, which I thought was cool. So I do, again, I think this is a movie that does have wide enough appeal that can appeal to new younger audiences, and old farts like me who grew up on the original Transformers. And I feel like to me, like I saw the original Transformer animated movie in the theaters when it first came out. I was like 13 years old when that movie came out, and I saw it in the theater. Um, and to me, that movie, while I love that movie and all, I felt like it really was kind of the beginning of the end for the original G1 Transformer run. Whereas I could see this as almost like a rebirth of that. Like I think the plan for these movies is to do like a trilogy of three movies, assuming they decide that it makes its money back, and they move forward with a second movie. But I could also, I mean, they would have to ditch the all-star voice cast because those guys cost way too much money. Which, yeah, they did the same thing in the original '80s movie. I mean, if you recall, that movie had quite a few pretty well-known people for that time, period. Leonard Nimoy as Galvatron, Orson Welles as Unicron, Robert Stack as Ultra Magnus, Judd Nelson as Hot Rod, Rodimus Prime. So they did the same thing back then. And then when, of course, they took those characters to the TV series, then they had to get all new cheaper actor. So I feel like they would have to do that with this movie, but I feel like they could use this movie as essentially a launching pad for a new Transformer animated series if they wanted to go that route. I think it would work well to do if they did that. But like I said, I think the original plan here was to do a trilogy of movies. Did your theater clap at the end here in St. Louis? The movie got a hit. Well, again, my theater was not packed, but yes, there were people, clapping a bit. There was a kid. You could hear the kid going, "Ooh, Megatron! He's cool. He's cool." So, it definitely. Again, it was unfortunately the theater wasn't like packed, but it did seem to get a pretty positive response from the people who were watching it. Thank you, Joseph, for the birthday wishes. Let's see. MK saw Don Johnson held up production. Well, yeah, Don Johnson was the big name that they got for the GI Joe movie. I really trying to think. I mean, Burt Burgess Meredith, obviously was a fairly well known name at the time for the Rocky movies and Batman '66 series. He was Globulus. Don Johnson. Obviously Sergeant Slaughter. I'm trying to think if they had any other well known. I can't think of any other well known names for the GI Joe movie. And of course, the Transformer movie, the GI Joe movie originally was supposed to come out in theaters before the Transformer movie, but then it got held up um, for a number of reasons, I think. Um, and then the original Transformer movie also did not perform well at the box office, and also because of killing off Optimus Prime, a lot of younger kids, they came out of the theater like crying and stuff, and so there was so much backlash on them having killed Optimus Prime that they ended up changing the GI Joe movie, because originally they were going to kill off Duke in the GI Joe movie, and instead they had him just go into a coma, and which he came out of at the end of the movie. And of course, the GI Joe movie, because again the Transformer movie didn't perform that well at the box office, ended up going straight to home release. At least for the most part, maybe it had a limited release at theaters, but it really didn't get the wide theater release like the Transformer movie did. It basically just went straight to VHS. What's up, John? As always, good to see you from Ireland. Eric Elman. The books were touching tales of fond family and covered topics for kids to understand. You know, and the books, yes, we read. Like I have not like like for like origin stories. I know like some of the more modern comics like IDW and stuff have gone into origins for characters like Megatron and stuff, but like for the cartoon, we never really got a we did get the Orion Pax origin, in the War Dawn episode where the Aerobots get sent back in time, but Megatron never really had. He was like always Megatron. In fact, in season 3 in the Five Faces of Darkness, when Rodimus travels into the Matrix and learns about the Quintessons having created the Transformers and stuff, it's just like they're like in one night Megatron was born, and he jumps off a conveyor belt where the Constructicons are standing around him, and it's just like I don't know if they were trying to imply that the Constructicons created Megatron or what, but that was kind of all we ever got for an origin of Megatron. He kind of just became into being. Greg says, I thought the '86 movie was so rad. Seeing the characters get deactivated was rad. Such an epic level for. Yeah, I mean, I love that movie. It was great. I mean, the thing that stood out to me the most as a 13-year-old was hearing Spike go, "Oh shit!" when the moon didn't blow up, when the moon blew up and didn't take out Unicron. That was like that. Like I still remember that to this day. which is funny because they took that out. Like when they released it on VHS, they edited that part out, so he didn't say that anymore. They, in later releases they brought it back in, but is McFarlane releasing another surprise for Kickstarter when it ships? I thought I saw. I not that I've heard of. I won't say it's impossible, but not nothing I've heard of. And I backed. I backed on the last day. I got the blue one, so I haven't gotten any emails about any additions or anything like that. All right, let's jump into a little bit of news because we have had some news since Friday. So, and then we'll get into opening some stuff. So let's start off with Marvel. So Dan Young has confirmed that this Friday will be Target Geek Out with Hasbro stuff, including the Venom Pool figure. So if you want this Target store exclusive, uh, you'll be able to pre-order it at 9 a.m. Eastern time during Target's Geek Out event. There's supposedly some type of GI Joe classified Tiger Force figure going to be offered. I don't know much else, so I'm sure as the week goes on, we'll probably learn what other Hasbro products will be going up on Friday. But right now, definitely Venom Pool is going up. We got Dan Young is hinting for those of you who maybe missed out on X-Men 97 figures, at least two, sound like based on what he tweeted, we were going to be getting at least two reissues, I guess. That's what it made it sound like. He didn't really go into a lot of details, so um, but it says in the US, if you missed out on some Marvel Legend Mutants, you might have another opportunity this week. And then he goes on to say, yes, two X-Men 97 characters. So I'm going to assume that Rogue, being probably the hardest X-Men 97 figure to get without paying a large sum of money, will be one of the figures. Maybe Wolverine, maybe Gambit. Now, there is a clue on Entertainment Earth's Drop Zone page for a pre-order tomorrow that suggests three. So I don't know if there will be three pre-orders. I don't know if this tease is for, in fact, um, X-Men 97 figures, but that's the only thing on the schedule for this week that could fit. But I don't even know, since Daniel didn't give us any details on how, when, or where these figures will be made available. It's hard to say, but keep an eye out. As soon as more info is given, we'll have it up on Marvelous News. But again, it does look like this week you're going to get another opportunity at a couple of previously released X-Men 97 figures if you missed out on those. For you 12-inch fans, the Mondo Toys Spider-Man, the animated series Spider-Man figure is going up for pre-order. Actually, is up for pre-order on the Mondo website. $220 for the standard edition, $240 for the limited edition. You get, of course, Peter Parker unmasked head. You get a camera that's webbed up on the wall. You get webbing effects, multiple hands, a pulled off mask. And then if you get the more expensive version, you get an extra Spider-Man head, which honestly doesn't look terribly different from the regular one, but I guess the webs are painted a little bit differently. You get what looks like a symbiote piece and a pulled off Green Goblin mask. So again, that is currently available on Mondo's website. And though the regular version will be available elsewhere. For you Mayfex fans, X-Man, Nate Gray from Age of Apocalypse has gone up for pre-order. You can get it places like our sponsor Big Bad Toy Store, $120. You get various eyepiece and effect pieces. You get three different head sculpts or face plates, 3 interchangeable head sculpts. So it is actually 3 full head sculpts. So again, this one is up for pre-order. And in keeping with that, if you're a fan of the Amazon series The Boys, the Mafex A-Train figure is also gone up for pre-order. So I talked about these on Friday, but they are now available for pre-order again. You can get them at Big Bad Toy Store. So anyone collecting those. Now, as I mentioned, Big Bad Toy Store is also celebrating their birthday, their 25th birthday this month, starting today. So they've got an exclusive Four Horsemen figure. Stavros, which is a repaint, I believe, but pretty cool repaint, red and kind of darkish grayish black scales. So again, this is being offered as a Big Bad Toy Store exclusive, celebrating their birthday. So if you win the $100 store credit today, this is something that you might consider getting. The cost of it is $80. Now, they've got a special page here. I'm trying to get to it. I don't know. I'm trying to get. Here we go. I don't know why they don't have this linked on the main page, but so they have this 25 day sale, daily sales. You can see they're hinting things. This looks like a Street Fighter M. Bison figure. This looks like a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle figure. This one looks like a G.I. Joe figure. So I don't know. Like it says sale, so I don't know if these are all new figures or just figures they're going to put on sale or a combination of both. This obviously is Masters of the Universe related. This looks wrestling related. Looks like the Legion of Doom. Just guessing. These two down here look like Transformer related. So I don't know. We'll have to see as it goes, but like I say, Big Bad Toy Store is celebrating their birthday. So, and as I said, if you win today, then you will be able to go over and partake in some purchases with them to celebrate. Let's see, what else do we got? Speaking of Four Horsemen, they revealed on Saturday their Frankenstein's creature. I talked about this briefly on Friday. I haven't looked to see if it's still available. It, actually, okay, it's sold out, so you guys missed it. I'm sure there will be a better version released later, like on Big Bad Toy Store and other retailers. They usually like to do that. So if you missed out on this one, you probably will be able to get some type of variant version at a later time. But again, this one went up on Saturday, sold exclusively on the Store Horseman website. Some new Hot Toy figures. Jump back to Marvel. We got a new Doctor Doom figure coming from Hot Toys. So this is part of. Well, it's just a comic book figure. I was going to say it's part of that Hondo series that they do, but looks like it's just a regular comic book based Doctor Doom. So if you're into 12-inch figures, yeah, this looks pretty good. I'm sure when we get close to the movie release, we'll get a Robert Downey Jr. Doctor Doom Hot Toys figure. I don't think it hasn't gone up for pre-order yet at places like Big Bad Toy Store, but likely, I'm guessing probably by the end of the day or tomorrow at the latest, it will. Oh, and there was a Spider-Man, Amazing Spider-Man figure again. With the Andrew Garfield face. I don't know. His head looks a little big to me. I don't know. It almost looks like a leader. His head almost looks like the leader. I think maybe they need to tweak that a little bit. I mean, the face itself doesn't look bad, but his head just looks misproportioned, like the hair or something. I don't know. And then also, while we're on Hot Toys, there's also a new Predator figure, Samurai Predator from Alien versus Predator. So if you're into 12-inch Predator figures, you might want to check this one out as well. Again, I imagine all three of these figures will be up for pre-order soon at places like Big Bad Toy Store. More McFarlane listings have popped up. These are via Infinite Toys. Collector or Captain Cold for the collector edition wave. We've got Captain Cold, Power Girl. That'll be interesting to see how they do Power Girl. Guy Gardner, Green Lantern. A new Atom figure, Ray Palmer, Jay Garrick Flash, another low. Oh, these are 5-inch. These are DC Superpower figures. So the Atom, the Flash, Jay Garrick, Batman, Lobo, Jason Todd Robin, Superman Returns, or Return of Superman, Black Manta, Sea Saucer, and the Bat Multicraft, which of course where they're crowdsourcing items. So it looks like they will be solicited for everywhere. I think there's too much else here that we haven't seen or that you guys are going to really care that much about. I also, I don't have it here, but I've seen listings that it looks like McFarlane's going to be doing two versions of the 78 movie Superman Christopher Reeve figure. So there's a DC collector edition version, and then there's looks like it's going to be a DC Page Punchers version. I've seen listings for. So I don't know why they're doing two versions, but there you go. I don't know. I don't know where. Or I don't know yet when they're going to go up for either one's going to go up for pre-order. I was hoping that maybe this week at least one of them would. That Christopher Reeve movie is hitting theaters, so and there is a pre-order on Wednesday the 25th, which is one of the days that movie's in theaters. So I was hoping maybe they were going to tie it with that, but there's been no preview or indication of that, so I don't know. But I'll put Salome down. But trying to find it, the listing. And there's apparently a whole wave of Zack Snyder figures coming again. So Armored Batman, Nightmare Batman, Superman from Batman versus Superman, Wonder Woman from Batman versus Superman. So if you haven't gotten enough Zack Snyder figures, it looks like there's more of those coming from McFarlane. So the wave with the collector wave. Well, it says with comics, so I guess this is the DC Page Puncher wave. Is Superman from the 78 movie, a Red Hood figure from Batman the Adventures continues. Um, there's a Chase version of that one. And then there's also a Shazam figure. And it just says Shazam. So these are listed as like DC Page Punchers. So I don't that's kind of weird that they would be throwing in like a 78 Superman with DC Page Punchers, but there you go. And originally I'd seen them listed as DC Collector Edition, so I'm thinking maybe those are supposed to be DC Collector Edition. I don't know. But the wave with Superman is Superman, Red Hood from Batman the Adventures continues, and Shazam. And at least the Batman and the Shazam figures have chases listed. I don't see a chase listed with the Superman, but but again, then there's a separate listing for just a regular by itself 7-inch Superman, 1978 Superman figure. So I don't know how the figures will differ. Salome has returned. But again, it does appear that they are going to be offering two versions of Christopher Reeve's Superman. So, and when those go up for pre-order or get a solicited officially or whatever, I don't know. But there you go. Jason says new superpowers Lobo should be cool. Yeah, that'll be an interesting one. It'd be interesting. They should do a DC superpowers Lobo's bike too. If they're gonna do Lobo, they should give him his bike. What's up, Everett? Thank you for the birthday wishes. Have you guys talked about Marvel Legends yet? I hope I'm not too late. Only thing, Venom Pool pre-order Target Geek Out has been confirmed for Friday. Possibly some X-Men 97 reissues this week. But that's really all we've talked about as far as Marvel Legends go. Chris, you tell them. Don't forget to smash that like button. You don't have to smash it, but just press it. I don't want you to break your computer, but or your phone or however you're watching this. Happy butter. Whoa. I can't remember. I don't. Let's see. The last Marvel Legend rumor report that I've seen, there's X-Men figures, but I don't think anything was called up. Well, Professor X supposedly getting a reissue in the X-Men 97 line. But based on what I've seen, that's the only specific X-Men 97 figure I've seen called out. And they just reissued the regular Professor X, one that they did. So CJ, yeah, I mean, I'm making an assumption that Rogue will be one of the figures reissued. Again, Dan Young said there would be two X-Men 97 figures. He didn't say which ones. There is a pre-order for tomorrow listed on Entertainer's Drop Zone page that suggests there's three things in the pre-order, but I can't. I'm making an assumption that maybe that's for the Marvel Legend figures that Dan Young's referring to, but that's only an assumption. I don't know that for sure. Um, because Dan Yen didn't say what day, where exactly these would be offered or anything like that. But I would assume that Rogue being, if they're going to reissue some X-Men 97 figures, Rogue would be one of them since it is the most sought after. I want to say on the secondary market, that thing's going for over $100, which to me is crazy, but there you go. And then Wolverine Gambit seem to be the other two that are the harder to get. Though Wolverine was reissued a few times, like that went back up on Big Bad Toy Store a couple of times here fairly recently. But again, as far as secondary market prices go, that one seems to go for quite a bit. Secret Wars Captain America is the same as the 20th anniversary, or is it brand new upper torso? Honestly, Everett, I have not looked that closely. Happy, thank you, Bob. I'm happy, wonderfully made. Thank you, John Jay. There have been rumors that Hasbro could lose the Marvel and Star Wars license. I would take that with a serious grain of salt. I mean, they just renewed the license in 2020, so I think they've got at least a couple more years left before the license even becomes available again. So, I've said this before. The only way I see Hasbro losing the license if they decide they don't want to renew the license. If they decide, I don't think another company is going to be able to take the license away from Hasbro. So if Hasbro wants to keep those two licenses, then I think they will hold on to it. But being that Hasbro has been moving more and more away from, they've been licensing their own brands out to a lot of other companies, kind of moving away from, manufacturing their own stuff. It's possible that they could decide that they want to completely get out of the manufacturing business and let the license go. But I only see that, I think, and I don't really think that's terribly likely, but again, that's the only way I would see Hasbro losing the license. Um, I think Disney and Hasbro have a pretty good relationship, especially when it comes to Marvel Legends. I think Jesse Falcon and the Hasbro Marvel Legend brand team have a very good, strong relationship. So I don't really see Disney. I mean, a lot of it comes down to money, obviously. So if Disney wanted more money, then Hasbro was willing to pay or something like that. But again, I think it really comes down to whether Hasbro wanted to, just wasn't interested in renewing those licenses. It's possible they could feel like they've done as much with those licenses as they can, and like I say, as their model seems to kind of be moving more away from producing figures themselves and letting others do it, I could see that maybe, but I wouldn't hold my breath on it. And again, they just renewed the license in 2020, so I think they've got a good couple of years left on it. I think I think both those licenses, as long as movies are coming and all that stuff, I mean, I doubt Hasbro would be interested in giving them up. If it wasn't for like the upcoming movies for both Star Wars and Marvel, then I could maybe see it. But those, those licenses, because of while the movies have not been what they once were, drawing the box office that they once did for the most part, they're still pretty big. The Ruckus. A small part of me hopes they do lose the license. That way I can retire without. Yeah. And I mean, if they gave up the license or lost the license or whatever, I mean, I don't even know who could really take on that license and really do a good job. Disney is going to, whoever gets that license or has that license is going to want to have a major presence at mass retail because, again, they use those things to promote their movies and stuff. So that's, so some small company that doesn't have much presence in places like Walmart and Target, they're not going to have a shot at that license. Um, they're not cheap licenses, I'm sure. So, it's going to require a company with deep pockets. So, who could really take on the license and really do a good job with it? I don't, as much as you guys and even myself at times get on Hasbro, I think they've probably done a better job with those licenses than anyone else could or would be able to do, um, based on various factors. And a lot of and the other thing I think people don't often realize, especially when it comes to Star Wars, a lot of the things that you guys get on Hasbro about with the Star Wars stuff, I think really comes down more from Lucas film than the decisions Hasbro's make. You guys, I think a lot of you don't realize how, and I mean, this is based on what I've been told from various sources, but that like, a Star Wars license is not the easiest license to work with because there's so many restrictions and everything that Lucasfilm puts on that license that it's very constricting for any company. So, that's another thing you have to consider is, a lot of the things that you guys don't like actually probably comes more from the studio, not from Hasbro themselves. And that would be the same whether it was any other company doing it or not. What's up, Paul? Thank you, Sean. Thank you very much. So I think that's all I really have for you guys today on the news front. Like I said, it's been fairly quiet over the weekend. So, so as I said, before I give something away to you guys, I do have some stuff to open myself. So I got the, speaking of Marvel Legends, I got this the other day. This thing is heavy. Um, it's got some weight to it. Obviously, I haven't opened it yet, but I was surprised how heavy this thing is. But the new comic book based Hulkbuster figure. So I haven't decided where I'm going to put this thing yet, but I definitely want, I have the original Toy Biz Hulkbuster, which was a great figure at the time, but I definitely wanted to go on and get this one. And of course, I have the MCU Hulkbuster. But then I also have a big box of stuff from Big Bad Toy Store. So I thought we'd open this up. My latest pile of loot. And of course, in typical fashion, literally like 4 hours after I requested to have this stuff sent to me, I get emails from Big Bad Toy Store telling me that my G.I. Joe Classified Retro Stalker and Beachhead figures have come in stock or are getting ready to come in stock. They're in stock now, but it never fails that the moment, like, you wait and you wait and you wait, and like, all right, I'm going to wait a little bit longer before I have the box sent, the pile of loot sent, just in case something else comes in stock. And then the moment you have it sent, more stuff ends up coming in this. So these I actually got from my wife, so I'll actually be giving these to her. And no, the card back is not translucent. That's just the camera. That's weird looking. That's kind of cool, actually. It'd be cool if that was actually. I don't know if it looks that way to you guys, but to me, it looks like the card back's invisible. But the new Sesame Street reaction figures. So again, I'll be taking these up to give to my wife. As far as so I told you what I did on Saturday. Um, Yesterday I just kind of chilled, watched some football, watched the Baltimore Ravens almost blow a 28-point lead in the last quarter to the Dallas Cowboys. Not really a Baltimore Raven fan, but I was definitely hoping for them to beat the Dallas Cowboys. It would have been better if it had been the blowout like it was at the beginning of the fourth quarter, but they still managed to pull it out and pull out the victory over Dallas. And I'm a Washington Commanders fan, which I'm often these days embarrassed to admit to, but I will be watching tonight. They're playing Monday Night Football, so I plan on watching that. Maybe flipping back and forth between Raw and that. If it's a blowout, like they're playing the Bengals, and I think they could maybe win tonight. They're actually number one right now after week 2. Ended up at number 1 in the NFC East, which is amazing. But they're rebuilding this year and everything, so we'll see how it goes. And my wife's making me one of my favorite meals and a birthday cake, so that's pretty much how I'm going to be spending tonight. But so these are for her. I don't actually remember ordering 2 of these, but the retro Cobra Trooper. So I'll have to look and see if I actually ordered 2 or if they sent 2 by mistake. So the Batman Forever. Still waiting on my Batmobile. I know some people have already gotten theirs, the Batman Forever Batmobile, but I'm still waiting on mine. But so and I end up getting the entire wave. I actually like this movie better than Batman Returns. Like the first Batman movie with the Joker and Michael Keaton is still my all-time favorite, but I actually was not a huge fan of the second Michael Keaton movie with Penguin and Catwoman. I actually like this one better, though I will admit when I went back recently to try and watch this movie, it definitely wasn't as good as I remember. But so I ended up getting this whole wave. And then finally, the comic book based Dark Side. So I definitely, when I saw this one, wanted to get it. I even though you wouldn't know it from this box, but I actually have not been buying a lot of McFarlane DC stuff recently. But this one I definitely wanted to get. Jeremy says Mattel or Jazzwares or McFarlane. The thing about McFarlane, you got to remember for the Marvel license, it can't just be the collector stuff. You've got to be a company that can also do the more kid oriented stuff as well. Now, McFarlane got the DC license because Warner Brothers did decide to split the license between two companies. But generally, for the Marvel, I think you would need to have the capacity to do the kid stuff and the adult stuff. So Mattel certainly, but people hated most of Mattel's run with DC stuff. So, I can't see people being thrilled with the idea of Mattel doing Marvel Legends. I don't see it. Um, Jazzwares, again, I don't think they have the capacity to really take on a Marvel license. I mean, just look how hard, the AEW stuff is barely available at mass retail. It's mostly all sold online. Some of their smaller scale stuff is certainly more readily available, but I feel like those licenses would be very difficult for Jazzwares to really be able to take on and do well. So I don't know. Like I say, Hasbro's not perfect, but I really think when you're talking about a license that has to have mass appeal, not just strictly for adult collectors, but also has a company that has to have the capacity to do a wide range of stuff for all ages. Hasbro is the best company to do it. Jason, my lockjaw got delayed. Unfortunately, my lockjaw and crystal 2-pack is now not supposed. I got it off of Amazon because they had such a like I think it was like originally supposed to be here on September 20th, and it got delayed till October 15th. So I'm still waiting on that one. Judge Dredd's my preference for Hulkbuster is the MCU version. What's up, Isaac? John, what is my favorite birthday gift that I've ever received? Oh, I don't know. See, the thing you have, I, even going back to a kid, like, I would often get stuff before my birthday, or, I'm very hard to shop for because I don't have any patience and I generally don't wait for things. So, like, when there's something I want, I generally just get it. So, my wife hates trying to shop for me because she never knows what to get me. Um, but even as a kid, like, my mom would get me something, but then like I'd either find it in the closet or something, and I'd end up getting it early. So very rare I would be surprised on what I got for a birthday gift, and and actually, get it on my birthday. But as far as like, is there anything that stands out in my mind as like the ultimate birthday gift? One year, I was in college, but I got the original PlayStation. That was a cool gift. Um, I don't know. We kind of called it a birthday gift, but it was really this. We were getting a new car, and so I got a convertible Mustang '97 Mustang, um, which was a great car. We've since traded it in for something more friendly to the pets, like our dog Logan and stuff. But that was again. I don't know if technically it was really a birthday gift. We kind of called it a birthday gift, but but yeah, I mean, it's hard. Like I have more fond memories as a kid of like Christmas gifts and stuff. Like I remember getting Star Wars stuff as a kid under the Christmas tree, like the Millennium Falcon and the Jawa Sandcrawler. I remember, birthday years where I got G1 Transformers. Um, I remember waiting for back when I was a kid, Transformers. There was a time where Transformers were very hard to get, so my mom got me the Dinobots, but she had to order them online, I think from like J.C. Penney's or something, and they were a little late arriving. So I remember like patiently awaiting for the delivery truck to come, like every day, um, for the Dinobots. Mr. Nation, most memorable gift was a catalog cutout of a picture of a camping tent for my 13th birthday. Still waiting on that 10 of 51. I mean, I used to love, and in part, it's probably why I do what I do. Covering toy news is like there was nothing better than getting like the J.C. Penney or Sears or Service merchandise catalogs right around this time of year, with all the new toys. I mean, that back then when I was growing up as a kid, that's how you got your toy information was the store catalogs. So I would go through those looking for all the great, cool new Transformers and GI Joe and Star Wars and stuff. Jeremy says, "In my house, money is always the best birthday gift. Then you buy, certainly like when you're in, you start to get a little older, like in high school and college and stuff. Money was always, king. That's basically my that's what my parents would do is they would just give me money. Your boss bought you a car? Well, that's a very nice boss. Defar Sears wish book, yeah. Service merchant. I don't know how many of you had service merchandise, um, but service merchandise, Sears and J.C. Penney's somewhat, but I remember service merchandise and Sears being the two best books. And this is even like this predates even like Toys R Us and things like that. With the conveyor. They were good. They were a good place to go for toys back in the 80s. Yeah, they surprisingly had a very good toys section. At least the one closest to me did. Maurice, good time zone. All glad I didn't totally miss it. Thank you, man. Thank you very much. Yeah. Even giving my parents pictures of what I wanted, they always found a way to get almost what I wanted one year. All I asked for was Clone Wars season one. They got me Clone Wars. Yeah, it's bad when like your parents. I mean, my parents were pretty good getting me what I asked for, but occasionally they would like get confused or couldn't find it, and so they had to get you something else. And when you're younger, you probably didn't hide the disappointment, but as you start to get older, even if it wasn't what you wanted, you had to kind of sit there and act like it was like a great gift, even though you're thinking in your head like, "Oh man, this isn't what I wanted at all." Jason 5 Cantina Adventure Set with Blue Snaggletooth was a Sears catalog exclusive. Yeah, they had a lot of Star Wars and G.I. Joe exclusives. The Cloud City, the cardboard cutout Cloud City was, I believe, a Sears exclusive. Um, all right, well, we're over 4 o'clock. So, all right, so this is how it's going to work. This is how the contest is going to work. So, I'm going to look away. I'm going to kind of just scroll up and down the comments section. Wherever the cursor lands on, whatever name the cursor lands on, that's who's going to win the $100 store credit. Now, you will have to email me. I will put the email in the video description um, as soon as this live stream ends. JAYENewsI.com. You will have to email me with your name and email information so that I can send it on to Big Bad Toy Store, and then they'll set you up with the store credit in the next day or so. But basically, I'm just going to randomly scroll through the comment section here, and like I say, whichever name the comment or whichever name the cursor lands on is who's going to win. You'll have I'll give you 24 hours. If somebody who has left the stream you know wins, then they can check back tomorrow and see if their name was called or what have you. It's not like the Rattler that I gave away a couple weeks ago where you had to get me your information right away because the campaign was getting ready to end. But so I'll give you a little time to get your information to me. Though the faster the better. But again, this is going to be for $100 store credit to Big Bad Toy Store. Wait a minute, before I draw, I'm seeing an email has just come in from Big Bad Toy Store with another pre-order. My Transformer Legacy United G1 Soundwave has come in stock at Big Bad Toy Store. I'm waiting for the retro G.I. Joe classified Cobra Commander to come in stock before I have my next pile of loot sent. All right, so again, this is going to be a random drawing. I'm going to look away. Eric Ellman is the name the cursor landed on with his spiral comment. So Eric Ellman is our winner of the $100 store credit to Big Bad Toy Store. So Eric, again, I will put the email in the video description as soon as the stream ends, but it's JAYENEWSI.com if you're listening. You are our winner. I'm just writing your name down. So give him a minute, see if he's actually still here with us. Oh, here he is. So congratulations, man. Assuming my mouse works. You are today's winner. So thank you. And thank you everybody for all the birthday wishes, for coming in and listening to me ramble. It's always appreciated. Love talking with you guys. Love talking toys. We'll be back on Wednesday with just a normal live stream news video, and then Friday with the pre-recorded video as always. But again, thank you everybody for tuning in today. Thank you again for all the birthday wishes here on Facebook, everywhere where you guys have wished me a birthday. It is much appreciated. So somebody at last live stream was like, throw the pin at the end. It's sometimes my aim is off, but as always, guys, stay safe out there. And until next time, guys, I will catch you later. Thanks for watching today's video. Now, if you're new to the channel, please think about hitting that subscribe button. Also hit the bell notification so you're alerted every time I upload a new video. For all the latest action figure news, be sure to head over to ToyNewsEye.com, MarvelousNews.com, JediInsider.com, and TFormers.com. And remember, action figures are great,